Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Wrestling is Her. I am your host, Raja, and I am joined by my intergender match-loving co-host, John.
I didn't know where you were going there for a second. I was like, well, I am kind of...
You have to listen to the whole thing.
I'm ethereal. I'm somewhat like...
The Great Okan.
Yes.
You're just a being that transcends.
You know what? Let me go ahead and say, I am nothing like the Great Okan.
We're just going to put that out there right now.
Yeah, no.
Nip that in the bud.
No, I have done some dirty things in a ring.
Yeah.
I have.
As a heel, yes.
I have to other guys.
Right.
For fun, for funsies.
Laughs.
And
for shiggles.
Nothing that a fan could see.
Right.
But no, I'm nothing like the Great Okan. Oh, hey. We'll get to that.
Oh, as we sit here, not even 24 hours after Historic X Over 2 has ended, we are ready to talk about so many things that we've seen in the past week in women's professional wrestling. So many things that we didn't think we would have to talk about, honestly.
My God, that was the line in my head. That's really weird.
See, we're on the same page.
In my head, I was thinking, well, what am I going to cut in with,
Sorry, I took your thunder.
And I was going to say exactly that. I was going to say so many things that we weren't expecting to talk about. So many things we weren't expecting to have to talk about.
Yes, like things that I never thought I was going to have to say out loud on our podcast.
And
when it came to women's wrestling.
We're in a different world right now because same line. Different thought. Because I was thinking about how bloody brilliant the Senjo show. We always talk about Sendai Girls.
Yes, where there were some crazy things, there were also some incredible things this weekend. And one of those things we literally just finished watching.
Yeah, because they were the same, basically it was the same time, Collision and then the crossover.
Yes, so November 17th, the Korakuen Hall show for Sendai Girls. This is one that you need to go out of your way to see.
Yeah.
Because it was incredible from top to bottom. And it's possible that you could just jump in there on Wrestle Universe. If you don't have Wrestle Universe, what are you even doing with your life? Like, you need to get the app. It's not that much a month. You get Tokyo Joshi, you get Sendai Girls, most importantly. Marigold's on there.
Oh, yeah.
It's totally worth it. And there's men's wrestling, if you like that sort of thing. But this Sendai Girls show from Korakuen Hall was just mind-blowing.
It really was.
I mean, you've got the young girls out there in the beginning, Yuna and Yura Suzuki and Chi-Chi and Koga Miria, who was just a pleasant surprise to have there after the Jojima tournament. You've got crazy three-way with Shin Sakura Hirota being her delightful, funny self, even with her hurt shoulder that she claims she dislocated doing a jumping concho on Aja Kong.
Can you be more precise? When you say on Aja Kong...
For those of you who don't know what a concho is, it is Sakura Hirota's signature move in which she does her hands in a prayer-like stance here, together, palms together, fingers out, and then she kind of dives right between the buttocks.
Okay, that's enough. We don't need you to spell it out.
Aja Kong apparently has the most powerful backside in women's professional wrestling because it dislocated Sakura Hirota's shoulder in the process.
So every time we've
as
seen...
she claims. That's what she says.
Yeah, every time we've seen her, she's explained it. And it's beautiful to watch her explain it in the ring.
And even on the sidelines of a match, she just adds so much joy to it.
Absolutely.
You get Bob Momo Banana teaming up with Ryo Mizunami, which is the craziest three-man team that just fits perfectly together against the new tag champions, Lena Cross and Vinny.
Oh my God.
Who just won the championships on the 9th in Nagata.
All right. Hard stop. Lena Cross.
She's fantastic.
So we have to talk about it. And we always talk about this whenever something has changed.
Yes.
Right? Especially with
we like to be upfront.
With you and your weirdness, with your moodiness.
It's always me. It's always me that has to change my mind. I am just so judgmental, okay?
So obviously, hopefully you guys can hear the gist.
Yes.
There, right?
Sometimes we don't get it right at first, okay?
Yeah.
Like sometimes we'll see a match and maybe we tuned in at the wrong match for the first time seeing someone. And we're like, I don't get it. I don't really like that person.
Yeah,
but
there might be something reckless or dangerous or, you know,
something that just gave us a little like put offness.
But also, every now and then, we're just marks.
Every now and then we get a little bit closer.
We absolutely love our certain people, and then it's like, who's this cross lady coming in?
Yes, and we still don't skip their matches.
No.
Because they're on a show that we're watching. We're like, we're going to give them the chance to impress us.
I will say this about us. I am proud of us because us will watch things we don't like.
Yeah. And give it a chance.
And in the hopes that they wow us, that they impress us.
Yeah, we want to like everything.
Yeah, hence the reason we still watch WWE pay-per-views.
Yes, and it's
most time.
It's crazy because we already watch so much.
Yeah.
We should be like judgmentally cutting things out to shorten our schedule.
Absolutely.
But we're like, we just want more.
Yes, definitely.
But Lena Cross has completely changed our minds in the past couple of weeks, like seeing her with these tag team championship matches and everything.
So Lena Cross, I'll make it quick because it doesn't have to be. It's not one of those promos, but Lena Cross has the size, the beauty, and
the moveset.
Yeah,
she's vicious.
The moveset, and she is vicious. Listen, her offense. All right, a lot of times you're going to win me over with transitions.
Yes.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
Sometimes you win me over with your selling ability.
Oh, yeah, that's a big one.
Sometimes you'll turn me off with your selling ability because it'll be too much, Utami.
Sometimes we're scared you're going to hurt yourself with the way
you
you sell.
yourself into freaking hell every time you take a bump, Utami. We love you, Utami.
Please stop trying to break your own neck.
We literally have autographs of you all over the place. We love you.
Calm down.
Calm down. Okay, back to Lena Cross. And Lena, Jesus Christ, I hope you're listening right now. Lena, if you're listening right now, because I know some of your friends listen, so hopefully they're telling you right now
that we're putting you over.
That we're putting you over, because we're putting you over big time, all right? And you don't understand what kind. We're shining you up right now, kid. We're shining you up, okay?
She's so good, especially with Vinny as tag team partner.
I love you and Vinny. I absolutely do. We've loved it from the birth. I was already a Vinny fan, though.
Yes.
So
when we saw them win the tag team belts, we were like, okay.
Yeah.
This is great.
Yeah, we're good with this. And the thing was, like, oh, Jesus Christ. Her offense.
Her finisher, that Death Valley driver
on the knee.
Oh, my God.
Actually, the setup.
It's disgusting in a wonderful way.
Gets me.
Like, yeah, that driver she does right before. This match was really
so anyway,
good,
go out of your way. We're going to continue on with the card.
Yes,
but when you're watching that card, when you see Lena Cross, just stop for a second. Go, oh, okay, that's what. Oh, shit.
She's in the ring. Just kind of watch her for a minute, and you'll see what we mean. Yeah. But the next match, these last 3 matches, honestly, I said the last 2, but this Sadie Gibbs versus Chihiro Hashimoto singles match that was like third from the top right before intermission. What just blew my mind. Holy crap.
Say my fair Sadie. If you're listening right now, which you might be because you got some friends that are listening. So
it's a common thread.
Hopefully there's one person going around the locker room.
It's like, oh, they're talking about my friend.
Going, hey, you and you here, listen to this.
If we have someone in the Sendai Girls locker room carrying a phone around, I'm going to just die immediately.
So we remembered Sadie from AEW.
Yes.
And it was one of those foggy memories, kind of like a fever dream.
Right, because it was so long ago.
Yeah.
It was the very beginning AEW.
Anything pre-pandemic it feels like a long time ago.
It feels like another lifetime, okay?
So, unfortunately, and listen, again, Brian, if you're listening and you want to correct, oh my God, you know what? My friend Brian really listens. I'm not talking to you, Mr. Happy. No, listen.
It was just a name,
give
right?
me a different name.
What's another good name?
Who's a know-it-all name?
Charlie.
Charlie? Is
I don't know. That's the first name that came to mind.
Charlie sounds like a nice kid that won a golden ticket.
He does. It's like Starboy Charlie.
I need somebody, Nate?
Nate? You think Nathan?
Nate?
Sounds
like a snitch. So he's a very snitch. Snyder? No. All right, Steve, there
you go.
Steve's an asshole.
Steve, if you're listening.
Steve, you're a dick. All right, so Steve, if you want to correct me, that's fine. But we're pretty sure that Sadie was one of the unfortunate cuts when the pandemic was going on.
Right, 2020 times.
Yeah, and AEW had to let some people go that were in England that weren't let go for
made it difficult for them
touching.
To get over here and do the shows in Jacksonville.
Yeah, it made it kind of very difficult.
Impossible.
As in couldn't do it.
Yeah.
But Sadie, Jesus Christ.
Listen, I just want to formally thank Sadie Gibbs for returning to professional wrestling this year.
Absolutely. So here's the deal. We start this match, and we're already gigantic fans. You know what? You talk about the matches, not me. Go ahead. I'll cut in.
Are you talking about how big of fans we are of Chihiro Hashimoto?
Yeah. And the match itself. And
the way that they work together, the level of work and the back and forth and the chain and never letting each other go and the transitions, and it was just insanity the way that they worked together. It was the chemistry was so top notch. It was
beautiful.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
That's the only way to describe it. We watched this match in utter awe, in silence.
Sadie is so athletic that moves that people that have a little rust or something like that, people that don't have rust, normally are somewhat not sure-footed, especially when you're as tall as Sadie is. And springboards were just incredible.
I know.
The athleticism is really what got me. I sound like JR right now, but no, she's an athlete. But she was so athletic.
She is. She's very deep in the fitness world, and you can tell that she takes care of herself, and she's so strong. Like, she doesn't look like Chihiro Hashimoto, who looks strong, but you can tell by her moves and the way that she works that she is strong.
You guys are going to love this.
Yes.
Hashimoto already is
a star.
God level.
Yes.
Right?
She is to us for sure.
And so this match isn't super long. I mean, it's not like we have a bunch of falsies in it or anything.
No, but it's so good.
It is what it is.
It's a masterclass.
But it is. It's truly, if you're learning, if you're brushing up, if you just
want
love
to see some solid work,
the art of pro wrestling,
then you'll love this match.
You will love this match.
But that brings us to these final two matches. The semifinal, was another stop on the Meiko Satomura retirement road, which I'm just sad to call it that at all. But
she literally tears up every time they talk about it.
Manami teaming with Meiko Satomura to go against Sari and Aja Kong. I don't know why I laugh when I say that. It just brings me so much joy.
It does, but this is one of those matches where I was like, at first, I was like, is this going to be...
Yeah, you're like, it's a Manami.
Yeah. I mean, we get to see Meiko and versus Aja, which is cool, and they build up the story.
Yeah, they keep showing the video package of her back in Gaia when she's like young, starting her career.
Anytime you see
getting her butt kicked by Aja Kong.
Anytime you see Sari in a match with anybody,
Sari scares me.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be good. So, we know it's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be a good match. What you're not expecting is to be like clapping for joy at the end of this match, which we were.
Dude.
The Manami, number one, serious as all get out, in there, just killing it with Sari. I was amazed.
Yeah.
Sari, of course, is Sari because she gets in there and you fear for the other person's life most of the time.
Leg slaps be damned.
Yes. But I need to talk. Meiko Satomura, she's a legend, obviously. She's on the way to retirement. She does not have to put in the work that she's putting in right now.
Definitely.
And she goes out there every time and just reminds you why she deserves the status that she has. Because, she can give every speech in the world crying, but once she's in that ring and the bell rings, it's like we're back in Gaia, Japan.
So every time the bell is about to ring and Meiko Satomura stares at her opponent, I pee a little.
Yeah, she's scary. There's this thing in Joshi where the match is about to start. They've had their introductions. They've been nice. They've greeted the sponsors and everything. And then they get in their corner, take off their robe, the bell's about to ring, and their face they just lock in.
What I love is when, game recognizes game. I get that. But I love when there's one bad bitch, but she meets a badder bitch. And bad bitch number one, all of a sudden looks like a green ass rookie.
Yeah.
And I saw that
trouble.
On Sari's face when this match was about to begin.
She took a deep old breath.
Meiko's looking at her. Mako's looking at her with those fucking eyes.
Yeah.
There's just big eyes that she accentuates with the eyeliner.
Yeah.
And she's looking at her. And Sari looks like a deer in headlights for a second. Like
she did.
I literally watched her.
I've never seen her look so unsure of herself before match.
Yeah, like she lost that very quickly.
Yeah, once she got started.
But it was almost like there for just a second.
Yeah, which is saying something with her.
Yeah.
Like she has had a career herself.
Have you ever seen something where somebody meets a bully from high school? Mm-hmm. And even though
you're both adults now.
Yeah, it's been 10.
And there's no way they're going to still be bullying you.
Right, 10, 15 years.
Yeah.
And you may be a doctor now.
Right.
And they're eating Doritos in a trailer.
Right. But you flash back to those high school days. And you're like,
that. They still have that senpai over you.
Which is beautiful.
It is.
It's a beautiful tradition.
It doesn't happen anywhere else like it does. Not even. No, you know what? Nowhere other than Japan
that
does
I've
it happen.
Seen. No, like they don't have that same respect for the elders sort of vibe in American wrestling for sure. Like the young kids are all about going over their senpais.
I mean, it's just different, and I love it for that because it takes two parties.
Listen, there was a spot in this match that we rewound like 4 times to watch that it was like Meiko Satomura kicking Sari so hard in the chest that we were like screaming.
Yeah.
And then she throws her off into the corner, gets reversed. She goes into the corner. Meiko Satomura jumps onto the second rope, no problem at all.
Yeah.
Comes off into an arm drag where she hooks the leg on the way over and goes straight into an STF. And we were like losing our minds.
I mean, listen, we're big fans of transitions.
Oh
okay?
my God.
Everything, you don't just pick up a Boston crab, like turn the damn thing over. And that's the simplest one I can think of. But I mean,
don't just sit over them and pick up the leg.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, come on. Try a little bit, right?
Be a little fancy.
This transition, I talk about her transitions anyway, but this freaking transition was just so.
It was so fluid and perfect.
I literally was watching it, and I'm watching it glued because by this point they've already done.
We're sold.
Yeah, they've done the pro wrestling part so well that it pulls you in, it wakes you up, it changes your day, it puts a smile on your face because it's pro wrestling at its finest.
Yeah,
and we were already to that point, but all of a sudden she hits the ropes and she's got her leg. I'm like, how did she? I look over at you, and you're like, "Are you going to rewind it?"
I was like, "Can we see that again?"
I was like, "Okay." And it's just like,
and we haven't even mentioned Aja Kong, who was a champion and in her heyday when Meiko Satomura debuted. Okay.
Yeah,
1995. Yeah. Like, this is Aja Kong from All Japan Women's Wrestling in there taking bumps.
Yeah.
Doing moves that she ought not be doing at her age.
Ought not.
And that freaking spinning back fist just kills me.
Dude, that freaking DVD. Meiko Satomura.
Oh my God.
Has tried earlier and it didn't work, right?
She tried picking up Aja Kong.
So there comes a time near the end of the match.
Oh my God.
Where Meiko gets Aja in the DVD. And it's everything she can do because she's tired, they're sweaty, it's 15
like the
in.
Finishing run of the match.
And she does it, and it's beautiful because we love struggle wrestling where it's not maybe as clean. You're struggling to get the
You can tell the other person doesn't want to go.
Yeah, so she gets the DVD, and which should have killed Aja.
Yeah.
And I'll be damned if she doesn't pop right up.
Aja Kong just jumping right up from a DVD.
She pops right up and does the spinning back fist.
Oh my God.
And just clocks her.
It was insanity.
Just clocks her. Listen.
This match filled me with so much love and joy in my life, okay? It was one of the best things I saw in the past week.
And that's saying something.
And that's saying a lot.
Yeah, listen, hands down, this match is 5 stars for me.
Oh, it was so good.
And I want to say
fun.
that in 2 weeks, I'll come off that and I'll be like, man, that was a solid 4.75.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to do that, but my emotion level right now.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
It just gives you that feeling.
Yeah.
It's like, I need to watch that. I need that in my life all the time.
The reason I watch pro wrestling is exactly in that match.
Yeah, it's the emotion, it's the work, it's the finish, it's everything. It's just everything. And then you had freaking Chihiro Hashimoto come out to challenge Meiko Satomura to a match afterward, and they're like, we'll do it in March in Yoyogi. And it's like, cool. That's one of her students. That's like one of her best students, her prized pupil, pretty much.
And you would think we were done.
Yeah, no, that was not the main event. The main event was a Sendai Girls Wrestling World Championship match between Mika Iwata and Dash Chisako, which Dash earned by pinning Mika in a tag team match a week beforehand. So they're in here to do this championship match, and this crowd is 100% behind Dash Chisako.
It's like Korakuen Hall was, hey, if you're actually related to Dash, please be here on this night.
Yeah. Please come support Dash Chisako in her efforts.
100%.
Because as she said after the match in her emotional speech, I actually was able to find translation for it, which is amazing because Sendai Girls does not.
Right.
They don't bother translating anything. So the fact that she has been working toward this for 18 years, since before Miki Iwata started wrestling, she was in Sendai Girls before Sendai Girls had belts.
Yeah.
And she has not been able to capture that Sendai Girls World Championship until this moment. And it was so beautiful.
Oh, it was.
It was so emotional. Like, you could see it written all over her face. But that this match meant so much to her. It meant everything to Dash Chisako.
Before the match started, we paid close attention, and she teared up.
Yeah. Before
the match started.
Yes.
If you watch this, just pay attention before the match. There's a couple of deep breaths, and there's a few teary moments.
It was amazing, and the match itself was so good. There was a double foot stomp in the bleachers of Korakuen Hall. You never see people go on that side,
Not
up into the
side.
actual wooden bleachers.
Yeah, way up top.
Where she put Miki Iwata in between two sets of bleachers and jumped from two bleachers up into a foot stomp, and it was crazy.
This match was sick, man.
The Mika was on point, as always.
Yeah.
Okay, I am the first to say my love for Miki Iwata. I've got our mascot here, our little tiger, who is named Mika. Like, she is one of my favorite wrestlers, but this Dash just had a different feeling about her in this match. The storytelling with working the midsection, the entire match. And then when Dash hit her first hormone splash, which is her finisher, she couldn't capitalize because her midsection was too injured.
We both died.
I was freaking out. She did manage to get a second hormone splash to win the match. And Mika was like all torn up because Dash just completely destroyed her in this match.
So it's the beauty of it. Like we don't need translations. We don't need to be fed something. We don't need to be shown 50 replays.
You can just feel it.
We know throughout the match that Mika is targeting the midsection.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that she's targeting the midsection. She keeps going back to the midsection.
She knows that finish. She knows what Dash is going to try to do.
Exactly. And she's clunking that head, too, at the same time. Don't get it twisted.
Oh, God. Those headbutts. I wish people would stop doing headbutts.
Well, it's the headbutt, the head kicks, the everything. This match was physical as can
violent,
be. So violent. But when that... When she does for a hormone splash and she doesn't get it because
she's just screaming in pain, curled up over in the corner, like she cannot physically get this cover, and it's just so great.
If you want to see two wrestling fans that just at that moment just appreciate everything in this world because of the story that was told in the ring, it's next level.
It is. And Dash Chisako, being the champion now, called her freaking shot after the match, okay? She called out Meiko Satomura for a title shot on her retirement road. What even is that?
Yeah.
And Meiko's like, you know what? Let's do it. I'm one more time. I'm going for that championship. They're doing it in December.
Yeah.
Like, Dash just got that belt. What is she doing? She just calling out the mother of this promotion?
I think it's great.
Oh, it's so good.
It's going to be such a good match.
This show was so good.
If
you love professional wrestling, women's wrestling, Joshi, any of it, this card is worth seeing.
I feel like every time that we watch Sendai, it feels that way.
It does. Sendai Girls is so good, from their production to the matches they put on. Even with such a small roster where you see a lot of the people go against each other like over and over again, it's never the same.
No.
And it's never boring. They always deliver, over deliver. Yeah. And it's incredible. Sendai, if you're not watching Sendai Girls as a Joshi fan, you're missing out, honestly.
Truly missing it.
It's so good. And it just fills me with so much joy. But with that being said, I think we need to get into Stardom and even mention a little American side wrestling that happened since our last episode, including Hazuki getting the big victory on November 8th at Fighting Spirit Unleashed, which means she will be facing Mercedes Moné for the NJPW Women's Strong Championship in December, which is big boy stuff for Hazuki.
Oh, it is. It is. And man, that's going to be...
That's going to be a match and a half.
Oh, my God.
The four-way was really good, though, that with Hazuki and Koguma. I wish we had more, like, FWC against each other in that match.
Me too.
It was a good match.
I would love to see Hazuki get that chance.
Me too. To help hold that belt.
But wrestling... I don't see you any way in hell.
They're gonna be at the Walter Pyramid, okay?
Yeah, no, I know. And the thing
Mercedes she just transcends.
But you never know. She could fall off the top rope.
She absolutely could. She could fall off the top rope and break her ankle again.
Yeah.
in that same building.
And hopefully not.
No, we don't want that in any way, shape, or form, okay?
What we're saying is anything can happen. I just don't see any way in hell that Hazuki's going to win this before we have the 1-3, 1-4, 1-5.
It doesn't feel that way, right? It feels like Mercedes needs to be at Wrestle Dynasty as the champion.
Absolutely.
But I also feel like I need to mention Mina Shirakawa versus Harley Cameron on this week's Collision, as well as Mariah May versus Anna Jay, main eventing Collision in a no DQ match. Both of those they bookended Collision this week. The women did, and they knocked it out of the park.
They did, and you have to go out of your way on these. My God, Harley
has come such a long way. 19 matches in AEW.
19 matches in AEW.
My goodness,
and it's just. Listen, it's not like what we were talking about with Mako, right? It's a different kind of match.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's entertaining, it's fun, and it was exactly what it needed to be. And then that main event, as you said when we were watching it, the girls always bring it for the hardcore matches.
They really do. The AEW women's hardcore matches are just legendary. There needs to be a study done where someone just watches all of those hardcore matches.
Definitely.
Because they're so good.
Yeah.
But that brings us to Stardom proper, which we have quite a bit to catch up on, so we're going to kind of get through these first couple of shows.
We're going to hit the high spots.
We need to talk about what happened in Tag League in the past week, starting on November 9th in Takashiba. In Blue Goddess, not Blue Stars, we're not in the 5-star Grand Prix anymore.
Yeah, we could be.
In Blue Goddess, Starlight Kid and Suzuki took on Mei Seira and Kohaku in a fabulous match that went to a time limit draw. And we gave that match 4 1/4 stars.
Because it deserved it.
Because it deserved it. There was a match where Sai Kamitani and Konami beat Rion and Hanako and Sayaka Kurara and Natsupoi. Then Miyu Amasaki and Azumi beat Maika and Yuna Mizumori in a match that you need to see just for the comedy value, because Maika was not here for this team up with Yuna Mizumori. She actively worked against Yuna in pulling the rope away, stomping on Yuna in the middle of the match, and then when they finally decided to team up and fist bumped, she accidentally lariats Yuna and gives the other team the win. It was so funny.
Oh, absolutely.
Another Blue Goddess match, Tekla and Momo Watanabe versus Hina and Lady C, and Tekla and Momo Watanabe got the win in this match. We gave it 3 1/4 stars. It was a nice outing for the tag team champions. And I do want to say
Hina and Lady C complement one another very well.
They're such a good tag team.
I didn't know if I was going to be here for that team at first. Now I'm really digging that team.
Yes, and this is the match where Tekla first came back, and she has the cast on her arm, which is a big storyline in Tag League this year. She claims that it's just good old-fashioned cast, nothing wrong with it. She kind of acts like her arm is hurting, but she uses it to her advantage.
Very Bob Orton Jr., very Iron Mock Sharp.
Absolutely. Then another Blue Goddess match. Lots of Blue Goddess matches on this card. Rina and Azusa Inaba versus Hanan and Saya Ida, where Rina gets the win over her sister in this match when Azusa pinned Saya Iida. So Hanan has now lost to both of her sisters in this tournament.
And you can tell how much she loves that. It's Rena, fantastic.
Yes.
As always.
She just commands the ring.
She really does.
And you know she loves beating her sister, even if not directly.
Yeah, and like I said, 3.5 stars. That could have easily been 4 stars.
Yes.
We were being greedy.
Then a Red Goddess match where Shiri and Saki Kashima took on Rana Yagami and Tomoka Inaba. And this was literally all of the chicks with kicks, except for Saki. You know, we love Saki, but this was not her forte in the kicking matches. And surprisingly, Rana Yagami and Tomoka Inaba were able to grab the win in this match with Tomoka's Michinoku driver.
Such a surprise win.
Shiri and Saki are having a little trouble getting started this year.
It's a great story.
It was, and a 3.5-star match to boot. Then we had the last Red Goddess match of this show, Peach Rock, Mayu Iwatani and Momo Kogo versus Ruaka and Natsuka Tora. And this was a match that finally we got to see a Peach Rock win again in the tag league. So that was really fun. And they are working so well together, but this was just like one of those where couldn't really get their stuff together. Their cheating backfired against them, and it ended up with like double super kicks and Mayu's beautiful moonsault to get the win.
Yeah, solid. I mean, it's 3 stars.
A solid 3-star match.
Yeah.
It was a main event, and it ended with Momo Watanabe attacking Mayu Iwatani, as we talked about. Momo challenged her for the IWGP belt, which we will get to that match.
We will get to it.
Next, we had a show on 11/10 in Chiba, and this started with an introduction from a new rookie who would be debuting, who introduced herself as Matoi. And she explained that she would be debuting at New Blood West 2 in Osaka against Hanan. So that was fun to see.
Can't wait to get to that.
Yes. This show started off with a 6-man where Mayu Iwatani, Tam Nakano, and Suzu Suzuki teamed up to defeat Rana Yagami, Sayaka Kurara, and Rion. So it was like top tier talent versus the young girls. It was such a good match. And even though the top girls could not get along, you know, Tam and Suzu do not like each other, they were still able to win the match because it's them. They're like the best in Stardom.
And now to go out of your way on this is going to be watching Mayu Iwatani in the backstage commentary.
She was so mad. She's like, why can't you guys get along for like 2 seconds and just act like you're the face of the company or whatever? And she was mad that Tam Nakano came out after her, because if you watch a lot of Stardom and a lot of Japanese wrestling, the top star always comes out last in a multi-man match or tag team match. They're the one whose music plays and who they're in the back of the line, so that they're the top. But in this case, Tam Nakano was in that set spot where Mayu's not used to.
No, and I love the fact that Mayu Iwatani is starting to get that feeling of, this is what I deserve.
Yeah. She's become very, I don't want to say jaded because it's well deserved.
Yeah.
But she has started to realize that she's maybe not getting her flowers that she has earned over her long career, and especially with this IWGP Women's World Championship run. I think she thinks that belt deserves to be heralded above the red belt.
Totally agree right now.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at the body of work that she's had holding that belt, it's hard to disagree with her.
Tam's doing her damnedest to change that view, but...
Yes, and Tam did say something peculiar about facing Mayu Iwatani one-on-one. We don't know if that's like a thing that's actually going to happen, but she did make the comment, and you usually don't have one-off comments that don't mean anything.
No.
Following that, we had Starlight Kid winning a 4-way against Rina, Momo Kogo, and Natsupoi, which was the moment that Starlight Kid got a 3 count on the Wonder of Stardom champion, Natsupoi.
Incredible.
Which directly gives her an actual foot to stand on in her challenge for the Wonder of Stardom championship.
So things are starting to take shape. And
yes.
Very excited about this because we have the big shows coming up for the new year.
Oh, yeah. We got the end of the year and then the Wrestle Kingdom week at the very start of the year.
Starlight Kid is destined to be our white belt champion.
Agreed. And there was a really weird moment after this match where Starlight Kid and Natsupoi were facing off and Natsupoi was holding up the belt where Rina pushed between them and like kind of gave them both this look like, don't get too comfy because I'm coming for your spot.
It was a wonderful moment.
It was crazy.
It gave us chills.
We were like, whoa, what just happened?
Because it was done so flawlessly.
It was. And it came out of nowhere.
It's like time slowed and it was cinematic.
Yeah, because the way she pushed by them and then just looked back over her shoulder, it gives you chills.
Again,
like, oh my God,
nothing
is this happening?
Nothing had to be said.
Not a word had to be said. Then we got into the tag league matches, starting in Blue Goddess. Tekla Momo Watanabe defeated Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori in a alright match, 2.5 stars. Then another Blue Goddess match. Hina and Lady C get the win over Saida and Hanan. And this match, Hina actually physically pinned Hanan to get the win.
Yeah, and Wingori is, there's something wrong.
There is. They're having a little trouble.
Right.
And they're like an actual bona fide tag team. So they've held tag team gold together.
They're bona fide.
But Hina was really excited because this is her first time pinning Hanan since she started wrestling. And I do want to say that the chop battle between Lady C and Saida in this match was just crazy.
Lady C's getting those chops together, boy.
She is. But as far as tournament matches go, this was probably a 3-star match. Yeah. Pretty solid. It was really good. Then in Red Goddess, we had Ruaka and Natsuko Tora defeating Konami and Saya Kamitani in a hate versus hate situation. And they both...
A lot of fun.
It was, because they had that little moment at the beginning where they tried to jump each other at the same time and they just kind of stopped and pointed at each other like, oh, you. It was really cute.
It's interesting in a lot of ways, and I think that this match may be looked back at one day.
Probably, but there was another moment of accidental use of a weapon against your own partner. That happens to take quite a bit, but Tora was able to use her Swanton Bomb on Konami to get the win for BMI 2000. So it was a good match. I would say another 3-star match. That was just, right there. Good match.
Yes.
Then in the main event of this show, in the Red Goddess, we saw Hanako and Maika defeat Shiri and Saki Kashima. And this was a really fun match because you got those Maika and Shiri moments that were really great.
Yeah.
Hanako showing her size, Saki Kashima trying to get very serious. But the thing that put it over the top was backstage after this match, Saki just shaming Shiri for taking the pin. And she was like, last time I said that it would be better if you were in the ring the entire match and you just did all the work. Well, I can see that's not going to work. So next time I'll take care of it. She's like, I'll help and actually do things and then we'll win.
Yes. It's again, it's an interesting story that's developing.
It is. There's a lot of wild sort of wins in this year's tag league. It's very interesting and very fun.
It is.
Then on 11/11, we had the big Korakuen show
We did.
with a lot of storytelling. And this show started out with Matoi, our new rookie, having a little exhibition against trainer Milano Collection AT, a little 5-minute exhibition.
And right off the bat, you can't tell a lot from an exhibition, but right off the bat, we're like, oh, hey, this Matoi, she looks pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
She looks like she's got some moves and
she had a little sparkle about
some
her.
good wrestling, and we'll have more to come.
And we jumped right into the action in the show with a Red Goddess match between Sayaka Kurara and Tam Nakano versus Konami and Saya Kamitani. And this match is a huge deal because we were joking like maybe Sayaka Kurara is going to get a pin over Saya Kamitani in Korakuen Hall again, but we weren't even prepared for what this match turned into, which was Saya Kamitani getting a pin on Tam Nakano.
Yes.
The World of Stardom champion.
Yeah.
And I knew that Saya Kamitani was going to get a World of Stardom championship shot at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But I was not expecting it to come so soon, honestly.
No.
And she harkened back to last year's 5-star Grand Prix where she faced Tam Nakano and dislocated her elbow in that match. And I guess she kind of blames Tam, maybe on that catch when she came off the scaffolding or whatever. But she's mad at Tam for that, and she wants to take her red belt and maybe even more from her because she had little eyes on Sayaka Kurara there. It
was pretty strange.
It was weird.
It was weird. I like it. This obviously will be a incredible match.
Yeah. I'm excited to have it because the match that they had at the beginning of the 2023 5-Star Grand Prix was shaping up to be an incredible match before the injury happened.
Right.
And having it on December 29th at Dream Kingdom is going to be a heck of a main event.
Oh, yes.
And that's the first match announced, and Dream Queendom is already moving tickets like crazy.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited for it. Then in the second match, Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, Koguma, and Hazuki, so O2 Line teaming with FWC, defeated Hina, Lady C, Rana Yagami, and Tomoka Inaba. And that was a really fun match just to have all of those tag teams in there together.
And it just felt right.
It did.
We talked about that during the match, that having Amasaki, Azumi, Koguma, and Hazuki together, man, that felt right.
It did. It felt really amazing because O2 Line talked about how FWC are the ones who convinced them to stay together for Tag League. So they got that tag team bond. Next, we had a Blue Goddess match where Suzu Suzuki and Starlight Kid defeated Rion and Waka Tsukiyama using the Black Tiger leg kill. Then, another Blue Goddess match where Rina and Azusa Inaba got yet another win over Mei Seira and Kohaku using Rina's gory special finish.
Yeah, and both of those would be right in the average range of matches. I will say, though, when the Suzu Suzuki Starlight Kid win, it kind of, for me, solidified the pecking order on that white belt.
Yeah. It did feel kind of like that.
You know, Rian, it's one of those things that Starlight Kid is just so damn good.
She's amazing.
That she is popping out of, you know, any kind of tag, any kind of multi-man, any kind of, she needs a singles run.
Absolutely.
With a belt.
I agree completely.
And I remember watching this match specifically and thinking about, she is so much more.
She's ready.
Yeah, she is absolutely ready.
But Rina and Azusa Inaba getting another win is just huge for the New Blood Tag Team champions. Like, they are racking up points so far in the tournament. Then we had a Red Goddess match where Saki Kashima and Shiri took on Peach Rock, Momo Kogo, and Mayu Iwatani. And Saki Kashima did as she promised the night before and really took this match seriously. And there was like a crazy beginning part of this match where Saki rolled Mayu Iwatani into the Kishikaise, and there was like a 2 count, but it was weird because Ando rung the bell like it was a 3 count, and Barb had to get out of the ring and go get a microphone and be like, no, that was just 2. I didn't call for the bell. It was 2.
It was so much fun. Going.
And then Shiri just immediately like gets back into the action. It was crazy.
Yeah, absolutely. They covered it incredibly well.
They did. But Saki Kashima and Shuri were able to get the win over Peach Rock in this match, with Momo Kogo taking the pin, which is not great for Peach Rock.
No, it's not.
But this was a fun 3 1/4 star match.
I think it's been fueling Mayu Iwatani, though.
Yeah.
Honestly.
She's very determined to get a win.
I like this Mayu Iwatani.
And seeing Momo just continue to get better and better, like, she was fluid as heck in this match.
Yeah, she was.
So you can tell she's working on it. She's just not completely there yet.
Definitely.
Then we had another Blue Goddess match where Hanan and Saya Ida finally get a win in the tournament over Aya Sakura and Yuna Mizumori. And I just want to say how good Aya and Yuna worked as a team in this match. Like, you can tell that Cosmic Angels connection even through this tag team that we don't normally have as a tag team. They were just
Aya Sakura is
really
just
great.
Coming out.
She is. Her kicks in this match.
She is coming out, man.
And the clothesline battle between Saya Ida and Yuna Mizumori just knocks your socks off, or feels like it does.
It does, yes.
But this was 3 3/4 stars.
It was.
Very close to a 4-star match. It was amazing. Hanan used her backdrop suplex to get the win in this match for Wingori. So finally, they're getting on the board.
It's nice to see.
Then we had a Red Goddess match where Hanako and Maika took on Ruaka and Natsuka Tora. And this match started out crazy because they were already in the stands, like the hate music was playing. And then they just come out of either side of the Korakuen Hall stands, and they're just kicking each other down the stairs and all that fun stuff. But this was your typical, you know, hate versus babyface match. They did all the normal stuff. But Hanako and Maika were able to overcome with their pendulum, facebuster, and then the Michinoku driver too, which Maika got the pin over Natsuka Tora, which is nice because of all that stuff that happened with Natsuka Tora taking her belt from her back in July and all that sad stuff with Sayaka Watani.
Agreed.
But this was a really good match. It was probably 3 1/4 stars. You know, it was a fun match.
It was.
Then in the main event, we had Tekla and Momo Watanabe versus Natsupoi and Saori Ano. And of course, this was half billed for historic X over with the Tekla and Natsupoi thing. And the tag champions use their weapons and all the cast on Tekla's arm. There was a point in this match where Tekla tricked Natsupoi into thinking that Clark Connors was going to show up again, just like he did last time they were in Korakuen Hall. She kind of like looked behind Natsupoi at the corner and was laughing, like, turn around, you're about to get speared. And Natsupoi kind of turtled up and was like freaking out, but he wasn't actually there. But that gave Tekla the ability to get the Poison Spider death drop on Poi for the pin. And then there was this huge fight after the match where Hate came in the ring, then Cosmic Angels came in the ring, and then Stars got involved. It was insane, the amount of just fighting that was going on after this match.
Yeah, and it's nice to see. And we've been seeing, ever since that Clark Connors attack, we've been seeing the rest of the roster kind of stepping up for Poi.
The rest of the roster are like, okay, Hate's gone too far at this point.
Yeah.
So let's talk standings really quick before we jump into
because this was kind of the midway point. Even though we have some other shows, they're not
tag league shows.
Not tag league shows. So this was our kind of our midpoint for the tournament.
Absolutely. So in Red Goddess, we have with 8 points Hazuki and Koguma, FWC, and Maika and Hanako, both at the top of the block. Then with 6 points, Natsukatora and Ruaka, and Shiri and Saki Kashima. With 4 points, Mayu Utani and Momokogo, and Konami and Saya Kamitani. Then at the bottom with 2 points each, Azumi and Miyu Amasaki, Tam Nakano and Sayaka Kurara, and Tomoka Inaba and Rana Yagami. So the tournament's not over by any means. We still have a couple of weeks to go.
And so instead of doing what we normally do with our favorites, and I just want to focus on our bottom 10% kind of thing.
Right.
So out of the 2 point teams, which one of the 2 point teams? Because our 2 point teams are Azumi and Mayu Amasaki, Tom and Sayaka Kurara, and Tomoka Inaba and Rana Yagami.
Right.
Out of those 2 point teams, which one of those teams do you see turning it around, which is a very Japanese tournament thing to do?
Yes. You start out losing and then you kind of get back up. I think O2 Line probably have the most chance of that because they're an established tag team, and Azumi and Miyu Amasaki both have the ability to win matches. So I think they probably have the most chance out of the three.
Agreed.
Despite Tam Nakano being on a team, having Sayaka Kurara there with her kind of gives that ability to lose.
Yeah, no,
unfortunately.
I totally agree.
On the Blue Goddess side, Natsupoi and Sariano are still at the top with 9 points. Then with 6 points below them are Momo Watanabe and Tekla, and Rina and Azusa Inaba. Then with 5 points each, we have Mei Seira and Kohaku and Starlight Kid and Suzu Suzuki. Those Neo Genesis people just cannot stop getting the same amount of points in tournaments this year. Then with 4 points, we have Waka Tsukiyama and Rion. 3 points, Saida and Hanan. And then with 2 points each, Yuna Mizumori and Aya Sakura, and Hina and Lady C. So hopefully Wingori can drag themselves back up from the bottom.
I think we both agree that Wingori is going to make a run.
I think so. That would be my guess for it. But we're still trucking along with Tag League, but this weekend was not about Tag League.
No, it wasn't.
At all. So we started on the 16th with New Blood West 2 in Osaka, and this is where we got to see the debut of Matoi Hamabe against Hanan.
So, boy howdy.
Boy howdy indeed.
This is the boy howdy moment for me. So, Matoi is all that in a bag of chips. And I'm going to say it right off the bat. Remember when Rana debuted?
Yes.
And we were just like, oh my God.
Yeah. So, she's got it.
She's got it. We knew where she was going. I can't say that I know where Matoi should be, except it's obvious that she needs to be in Stars.
Yeah, she kind of gives that Stars feeling, and Hanan was sort of like,
maybe she should
be in Stars.
Yeah. But Matoi is incredible with her ground base, her wrestling. Mm-hmm. She's got it.
Those throws.
Yeah, she's got the look.
Her gear was amazing.
Yeah. She totally is going to be a great addition to the roster.
Oh, I'm excited.
And she already is laying in the drop kick. She's already laying in we have sometimes a learning curve.
Yeah.
And
where you don't really want to hit someone
right
as hard as you should.
But then there are people that have the killer instinct.
Yeah.
this lady has the eye of the tiger.
I agree. And she also seems very confident. Like, she doesn't seem to stutter or get embarrassed on the microphone or anything like that. She seems very sure of herself, which is important when you're a professional wrestler.
First official, new girl of the Okada era.
It is. And she shows a lot of promise. She didn't win this match on and use the Boston crowd to tap her out. But it was a very promising debut. And it was really fun to see. Then in the next match, Miyu Amasaki and Mei Seira took on Momoka Hanazono and Yuna Mizumori in a match that I can just say was a lot of fun and hilarious.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because I don't think the Neo Genesis girls really knew what to expect out of these two. And Yuna and Momoka they're so silly.
So much story.
They're so silly. But Momoka with that bubble wand, she accidentally whacked Yuna Mizumori over the head with it.
They told a story in the ring. It was really good. It was fun. And it was one of those things when you see a comedy match sometimes, it's comedy for the sake of comedy. It's not any good.
Right.
But then you have matches like this where you've got some people that can be funny, but bring some damn good wrestling.
Absolutely.
And that's what this was.
It was.
So I loved it. It was 3 stars all the way for me.
It was, yeah.
No, I know we're not ranking the non, but...
It did have great wrestling in it because you still have Mei Seira and Yuna Mizumori just keeping up with that high-speed thing that they had going on.
This new blood, better than a lot of them, was really new blood.
It was. There was a lot of people that most people haven't seen before.
Right, unless you watch freaking everything. Like we do. But... getting to that.
Oh my gosh, this next match was kind of crazy in a way that we weren't expecting because we had Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara teaming up to take on Sumika Yanagawa and Misa Kagura from Just Tap Out. And it wasn't really the match itself, which was good. It was a good match that was so crazy about this because before the match even started, Misa Kagura crossed the ring and went between Aya Sakura and Sayaka Kurara and just stared down Tam Nakano, who was seconding the Cosmic Angels team on the outside of the ring, which we thought was weird.
Yes.
We were like, is this girl just coming into a New Blood and like straight up staring down the world of a Stardom champion? It was very strange. But they go through this match. It was a good match. The girls really turned it on. They were trying their best, but...
It was so long for one of these matches.
It was a really lengthy match.
We would have thought that our Cosmic Angels would have won.
Yes, but they didn't. Sumika and Misa were able to get the win here. And then, following the match, Misa Kagura got on the microphone and started talking about how she'd always wanted to make her presence known in Stardom. And for a particular reason, she wanted the attention of Tam Nakano, which we learned that these two, through tweets and stuff from Tam Nakano and everything else, that these two had been in the same idol group years and years ago, but Misa Kagura quit the group before her first big performance. So Tam hadn't heard from her in all these years, and then suddenly she pops up as a professional wrestler and comes into New Blood, and Tam is, I think, a little surprised by that. And she also isn't so sure that Misa Kagura is up to the level of facing Tam Nakano, and Tam said, "Make me want to fight you."
Yeah.
She's not gonna just let it happen that easily.
No, I love it. I love the fact that Tam kept her composure, but I also love things like this.
Yeah.
Just
a cool little story.
Yeah, a little side story, mystery out of your past. I mean,
it's so funny the things that they tie in and just the way that things always connect. It's so cool.
It was really good.
It was amazing. And I look forward to that Tam Nakano Misa Kagura match in the future.
And I look forward to this next match.
Oh my gosh. So Rion and Hanako versus Zones and Chi-Chi. This isn't exactly the match that we wanted because there's a certain rivalry that's been started that we want to see every bit of. But this match was full of tension with Chi-Chi and Zones, and Hanako in particular because she is a part of that rivalry against Zones because they're the big strong girls.
Yes.
But this match was just violent. They just took it out on each other.
Listen, I've given my Chi-Chi love before on the show, and it's going to continue to happen. Chi-Chi comes out, and you think of her like she's a Cosmic Angels type or whatever.
Right. Oh, she's cute.
She's not That she is cute, but she's not that. She is violent. She takes no shit. She's
wily.
Yeah, she's wily. She's like the street knowledge girl. She's the first chick that, had you smoke a cigarette. She's the girl that's going to get in a fight at the end of school, and scare the shit out of some girl off from fourth period on. That's Chi-Chi. And
not long before this, she won the Sendai Girls Junior World Championship.
Yes, absolutely.
She's amazing.
She is. And we wanted to see, you can talk about what we actually wanted to see, because at the end of this match,
yes,
everything breaks down, man.
Oh, gosh. It breaks down and continues breaking down and doesn't stop breaking down for like 5 full minutes because Chi-Chi is talking. Chi-Chi and Zonas won this match because Rion's in there, and they were even, Hanako and Ayasaka were even like, oh, you beat your junior, blah, blah, blah. And Ayasaka and Chi-Chi do not like each other. So when Chi-Chi's talking on the mic after this match, Aya just comes to the ring. Like, she didn't even get called out. She's just coming out here. And she and Chi-Chi just start going at it. And then Zonas and Hanako are going at it. And Chi-Chi's like, I'll fight you anytime, anywhere. It's insanity.
Yeah, this is what we want to see.
Yes, we want an Ayasaka Chi-Chi singles match again. We had it in the Jajima tournament, but we want to see it again in a full-fledged match.
Oh, it's a different match now.
And I'll even take the Hanako, Aya, Zonas, Chi-Chi tag match anytime, anywhere. Like, this feud, I'm dialed in for it.
Totally.
Because they are all amazing against each other. Then, in the main event of New Blood West 2, we had a New Blood tag team title match where Rina and Azusa Inaba took on Rani Yagami and Lady C. And it was a fun match where we got to see a lot of Lady C's new, like, she kind of has come into herself since joining God's Eye, and she brought a lot of that into this match with her big boots and her leg lariats and her chops for sure. But unfortunately, the God's Eye team was not able to overcome Rina and Azusa Inaba's current run of wins that they've been having.
Totally.
So they retained the New Blood Tag Team Champions. And even after the show in New Blood, they do a little group photo. They bring everyone out to the ring, and they do the number on their hands of what New Blood it is. But even after that, in the ring, Chi-Chi and Ayasaka could not keep their hands off of each other. They were just going at it.
Yeah, Chi-Chi took the Julia pose.
It was so cool.
Over with that classic picture.
Chi-Chi and Zonas had to go stand in the corner.
Yeah. Totally. It was a great show, though.
It was so fun. It's like New Blood is not a long show, and it's on YouTube, so it's free. Right. And just watching it, you get to see a lot of younger talent really show their stuff, and it's always good fun.
My favorite New Blood.
Yeah, it was a great New Blood. Even without a Future of Stardom title match on it, it was really great.
Because of the top to bottom part.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's something that kind of drags in the middle.
Right.
Or the audio is like 5 minutes apart or something.
You're always going to see something start on New Blood, though, that carries over into the main roster, like Mei Seira and Hanen's random feud that started on New Blood.
It was full of fun. It was full of undercard stories.
Absolutely.
And I love it. It was great.
I loved it too. It was really good fun and a great way to start off the weekend, which would take us into the next night.
Historic crossover too.
Oh gosh. I did not really know what to expect out of this show, and it just completely subverted my expectations entirely.
We were super excited, and it was well-founded. It was a great show.
It was a great show. It was a great pay-per-view. Everyone really gave it their all, and they were here for it. Even in the pre-show match, which was Rani Yagami and Sayaka Kurara teaming up to take on Aya Sakura and Hanako. And this is the class of rookies from the past year. They're all classmates. They're all trying to overcome each other, essentially. There's a lot of competition, but they got in this ring and just showed why they are the future of Stardom.
To be the pre-show match, it's not always a lot put into it.
Yeah.
But this was an absolute 4-star match. This was an absolute incredible showing of what these girls have done over the past year or so. And it had the physicality that you want to see. It had moves that they were doing that they have not really done.
For sure.
And this was just incredible, honestly.
It was amazing
for
to
the
watch.
Girls. If we're judging this based on these girls, where they've been, what they're doing, and getting out there in front of this incredible crowd, You know, it was a big crowd.
It was a huge crowd in Osaka. And you know Osaka can be a tough crowd.
It can be. And a lot of New Japan people that maybe didn't know who they were.
Right. You got to really come show who you are.
They came dancing.
They did. And there were some great spots in this match, like Hanako throwing a big boot at Sayaka that she ducked so that Rana could get a kick in on Hanako. And Aya Sakura just throwing those high kicks. She did 2 in a row to both of her opponents in one spot, which was really cool. And then Hanako using Himika's JP coaster that was passed down to her to get the win over Sayaka and give her and Aya the win in this match.
Solid way to start.
It was really good. Then we started the main card with some more Stardom action. The first part of this little part of this card was full Stardom matches. So the first of those was Sariano and Tam Nakano teaming up against Shiri and Tomoka Inaba. And I just gotta say, Tomoka Inaba was here for this match.
She was, man.
It's like she knows that it's a big show and she's not gonna not show out.
Totally. Tomoka Inaba, she
really laid it in, dude. Like
she did.
And Sariano and Tam Nakano with their axe kick, the double Cosmic Angels axe kick in this match just seemed so much harder than normal.
The Tam Nakano Inaba parts,
yes, where
are
they're
worth going back and watching.
You can tell that they're going for it,
and Tam gives it back.
She does. Of course she does. It's Tam Nakano. And she was able to get the win in this match over Tomoka using the violet screwdriver, which you just can't kick out of that.
It was violent screwdrivers, what it was.
But this match was every bit of 3.5 stars. Yes. Great way to kick off the main card with some Stardom action. Show those fans who may not know Stardom as well what they're missing out on. In the next match, we saw Miyu Amasaki, Azumi, and Mei Seira of Neo Genesis take on Ruaka, Rina, and Konami. And the star of this match all the way was Rina. The entire match, she just completely took it over. I don't know how else to explain it.
Yes.
Her presence in the ring, it's like she's such a natural.
She is.
She belongs in the top echelon of Stardom already at 17 years old.
She is a star. She is
insane.
A freaking star. She has everything. We've talked about it over and over. I can't stop screaming it from the mountains because this girl has it. She has every bit of it. And, you know, I can't wait to see what happens. And I think it's been noticed. I think that they know what she has because she is placed in these positions to shine.
She is. And it shows through her tag league wins and through her future Stardom run.
But she outshines some pretty big stars.
She does. It's like you just want to see Rina whenever she's in the ring. She has this it factor about her that's just undeniable. But unfortunately, the Hate team was not able to get the win in this match. Miyu, Azumi, and Mei Seira got the win when Miyu hit her tensai, and then Azumi hit her double foot stomp, unfortunately on Rina, to get the pin. But this was just a solid 3-star match that just really shows you why you need to love Rina, honestly.
Yes, absolutely.
After that, we had a man match. Francesco Akira, Callum Newman, and Jeff Cobb defeated Bolton Oleg, Tiger Mask, and Toru Yano when Francesco Akira hit Tiger Mask with the fireball knees to the back. Yes. Good for them. I don't have a rating for this match because it's not women's wrestling. Right. They did good. They were fine. Following that, we got into our mixed tag team action. This was sort of the bridge into the craziness of the night. And we started with the Hate versus the Ultimate Babyfaces match, where Drilla Maloney, Gabe Kidd, Saya Kamatani, and Natsuko Tora took on Ryusuke Taguchi, Hiroshi Tanahashi, Saya Ida, and Hanan. So before this match, there was a lot of crap talking from Natsuko Tora and Saya Kamatani. Tora was very adamant about getting her hands on President Tanahashi, and Saya Kamatani wanted to teach Taguchi a lesson because, in her words, he's a perv. So, you know, there was a lot of that. No one in this match gave two cares about the rules. They didn't want to follow the rules. They didn't give a shit. The rules were typical intergender match rules where it was supposed to be women versus women and men versus men.
Yes.
That did not stay that way.
No, it wasn't. And I thought that some of Taguchi's stuff was going to be the, you know, maybe the perviest stuff I've seen of the night.
Yeah, you would think it would be.
Yeah, because he's kind of like the fun perv.
Yeah, he's silly.
Yeah, he's silly. He means nothing by it.
he's just that funny guy.
Right.
You know?
Here's my fart joke.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But this match ended when Tora blew mist in Tanahashi's face, and then Saya Komatani low blowed Taguchi. Then there was a pile driver from Gabe Kidd on Ryusuke Taguchi, and that led to the pin.
It was fine.
It was a fine match. It was, I don't know, like 2.5 stars.
2.5 stars.
But there wasn't a lot of like wrestling in this match. There was a moment that was really cute with Hanan like yelling at Tanahashi to tag her in. It was so cute. She was just so adamant to get that tag. She immediately got like taken out after.
Yeah, she got murked.
It was so cute the way she's jumping around like tag me. It was so fun.
I did love that part.
Okay, I just need to preface this with a little. I don't know. Do we put a trigger warning? If you saw this show, you know what we're about to talk about with this King of Pro Wrestling 2024 match.
I'm just going to say before we talk about it, so I don't have to talk about it in the time period.
Okay.
I'm not sure that was a butthole. So we'll continue on from there.
Okay. So Suzu Suzuki versus Great-O-Khan for the King of Pro Wrestling title 2024 in a death match. That was the stipulation because King of Pro Wrestling always has a stipulation, and Great-O-Khan let Suzu Suzuki pick, and she picked no death match.
And if he loses, he has to shave off his hair.
And his beard, yes. She did say that. But it was a death match. Suzu Suzuki has a lot of death match background. She has a lot of background in facing men in death matches.
And Great-O-Khan is a stand-up dude that has protected women on the street before.
Yes.
So we were all excited about this because...
He's a great guy.
Oka is a great guy.
Oh, God.
And as a tradition of being a great guy...
I just don't even want to talk about this match. It was a good match up until a certain point.
And then there's this match. So Suzu brings out a fork board when she's coming down.
She did, yes, she did.
It had plastic forks sticking out of it. I'm sure she would have wanted it to be metal forks, but they're only going to let you get away with so much in New Japan.
New Japan learned from that Will Ospreay cage match. They're like, please don't bring metal forks.
Right. And basically, the first 5 minutes of this match, I'm doing this for you, by the way.
Thank you.
The first 5 minutes of this match was all Great-O-Khan.
Yes, he did not want to let Suzu use any weapons.
Right. The story of it was basically, I'm not going to play your little game or whatever. And such a funny girl, you know.
Yeah, you're so cute.
It's essentially the big guy holding putting the hand on top of someone's head while they're doing swinging. That didn't happen, thank God, but it was essentially like that. So I mean, that's a great story. So
yeah, because then you have Suzu coming back. She starts fighting her way out. She starts using weapons and doing what she does best. She's doing great, but then Great-O-Khan won, and we don't need to talk about anything.
So there was some
questionable spots
in the match that I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah, I don't know the thought process behind this. Why?
Because we're doing this to further... I think we're doing this...
the intention behind it.
To further the brand, to normalize women's wrestling on the men's card.
Right.
And make it more on the New Japan card, not just the men's card.
Yes.
So, I don't know how to say it.
Oh, God. Okay. I don't want to talk about Great-O-Khan.
It's a pay-per-view. There's a good chance people have not seen it.
Okay. Great-O-Khan sticks his thumb somewhere he should not, okay? On Suzu Suzuki while he's holding her down, and she makes the worst face and the worst sounds that she could possibly make. And then afterwards, he sniffs his fingers.
No, he stuck his finger in his mouth.
Oh, God, it was even worse. I probably was covering my eyes. But she does get one back on him by stapling him in the nether regions. But I was in shock. I think I went into shock at that point.
So, and then usually if something like that happens, you do get your heat back.
Yeah.
Now, yeah, she used the staple gun on Little Okan. But after it was over, even at that point, you're thinking, okay, because just wrestling dictates that you get your heat back.
Yeah.
Okay. So it would have been funny almost just to pants him or, just something. And he was wearing panties or something. Like I would have done something funny. I don't know.
She had a chance with the fork board, but then she ended up going through it.
But he drilled her.
Yes, he used the eliminator through a trash can that was on top of a ladder to get the pin, and didn't feel great. this match didn't feel great by the end.
No.
I kind of questioned why we needed to have this match by the time it was over.
Yeah, it was awkward.
It was very awkward.
I haven't even
weird.
looked to see what opinions were.
It felt bad. I was excited originally about this match, about Suzu getting to do her Suzu thing and be crazy.
Have you seen any?
I haven't looked.
I've stayed away.
Tried. I know how I feel about it. I feel like things could have been left out and it would have been a just fine match without those things.
It felt like, I don't care if it's 2024. I know we say that a lot.
Yeah.
2024.
There's some things you just don't do.
But I have to let you know something. 1994. That wouldn't have
been okay.
No, it wouldn't have been okay. We didn't make a, I just don't see that. Like, I've wrestled women.
Yeah.
I have wrestled women.
Yes.
And I go out of my way of starting off chauvinistic when I do it.
Yeah.
To tell a story.
Right.
To tell a story. And then I'll let, I make sure that at the end I'll learn a lesson. Mm-hmm. My character learns a lesson.
Right.
And like, oh, okay, she's a badass. She'll do whatever she has to do to beat me or whatever.
Yeah.
There's fun ways of doing things. And there's fun ways of still giving the guys what they want, right? Mm-hmm. And there's ways of giving the women what they want to see.
Right.
And then there's also ways that everybody ends up happy at the end.
Yeah, and I don't think anyone felt happy about
No, I don't.
This
I just don't understand that spot.
This match does not uplift the name historic crossover. I don't think it achieved what this show was meant to achieve. And I don't feel right rating it as a match.
No.
Like, I just kind of want to forget it happened at this point. So we're going to move on to the next match, which was Taichi and Natsupoi teaming up to take on Clark Connors and Tekla, or Clark and Tex, as they so cutely go by.
Now, there could probably not have been a worse time for me to watch this match.
Oh, God, we were in shock. We were not ready. And this match just took it to another level.
I'll be honest. I'm just going to be honest with our listeners. I was pissed off after the Suzuki match.
Yes. We were a little upset.
So I went into this and I was not in the mood for Clark Connors.
Oh, it was bad timing because the character that Clark Connors plays is not very nice to Natsupoi,
so,
one of our favorite female wrestlers.
So the whole violence thing.
Yeah.
The way Natsupoi sells that.
Yeah. It felt a little weird after everything.
And the way that Tekla sort of empowers Clark.
Yeah, it's a lot, okay? It's a lot, and it's telling a story, but we weren't really in the space for that story at the time.
I could get that story now, especially since we get the payoff.
Yeah.
And, I could do that now, and I could have done that at any other time. It's just a placement.
Yeah, it was like a bad timing thing.
Yeah.
But there were some really cool moments in this match. Like, early on in the match, Clark was going to try to spear Natsupoi, and the entirety of Cosmic Angels got in the ring in front of her in the corner, which was really sweet. And then, of course, the payoff at the end of the match where Tekla was holding Natsupoi for the spear, and Taichi shoved them so that Tekla ended up taking the spear, and then Natsupoi got hers on Clark Connor with those crazy kicks to the face, which he deserved. And then she did the Fey gift, which had even more impact on Tekla after taking that spear to get the win for herself and Taichi. So it was a really nice ending. Like, the ending sequence of the match was fabulous.
Yes.
It was one of those that was really frustrating throughout the match because it's Hate and Bullet Club War Dogs, they're going to do their thing, and you just get frustrated because your favorites aren't able to get any footing whatsoever, and then you've got Hate on the outside also causing trouble. But the ending sequence really brought this match back, and the payoff for the story was really nice. I hope that the Natsupoi Tekla thing's kind of put to rest for now, that we can move on to Natsupoi Starlight Kid. I would give this match 3.75 stars probably, just for the whole way it ended up. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to watch in some parts, but not in the way that the other match was hard to watch.
Yeah, no.
It was cool at the end though.
But now we get to do something really cool.
Now we get to talk about a women's match for the IWGP Women's World Championship. Mayu Iwatani versus Momo Watanabe.
My God.
And we just need to talk for a moment about Momo Watanabe walking out in this white and gold gear. That very much screams Queen's Quest, and with her hair pulled back in a ponytail, not hiding her face, and her not wearing black. And there were a lot of things, okay, that just felt very Queen's Questy about it.
Yes. I mean, this was Queen's Quest Momo more than we've seen ever since Queen's Quest Momo.
Yeah, I think she was tapping into something that she felt she needed in this match. And Mayu, of course, came out in her full white IWGP Championship match gear, looking amazing.
Yes.
As Mayu Iwatani does. But this match was just incredible.
It was.
And there was some hate interference. You had the chairs, you had the girls on the outside causing trouble. But for the most part, we got that Mayu Iwatani match that we always look for.
And at the first of it, you might watch it, and at the first you're like, oh, they're interfering and whatnot.
Yeah.
But there's a reason for that, and it happens later in the match that it explains it. And so that that's understood. There's a reason for it. But this match, it blew away. Listen, my expectations for Mayu Iwatani and IWGP matches,
yes,
it starts at 5 stars.
It's pretty high,
and goes down accordingly after that. It's not like I normally rate something.
It doesn't have to work its way up to 5 stars.
No,
we just automatically assume this is probably going to be in the range of 5 stars.
It's normally implied because but man,
this match, it was so full of story, and I need to mention the freaking bee driller and dragon suplex on the apron. Like 10 minutes into this match, I was scared. Like that moment when Mayu's lying on the apron and she holds her hands up and looks at it and it's just trembling. I was like, oh my God, did somebody get hurt at this moment?
For me, that's when the match began.
Oh, that was when it went into like the next gear.
Yeah.
And you got Momo in there with those kicks. She's just never misses. And they're so hard and so brutal. And then Mayu in there doing everything in her power to get the upper hand on Momo Watanabe, who is an incredibly hard opponent to get the upper hand on.
Yeah.
And she managed to get the dragon suplex at one point that Momo kicked out of. And then Momo hitting the Peach Sunrise and Mayu kicking out. And Momo's face when that happened, she's like crawling around the ring freaking out. Right. And she like grabs the referee and she's like, was that only 2? Because that's her finish. She was supposed to win in that moment in her mind.
Right.
And she didn't. And the end of the match came when Mayu Iwatani finally got the 2-step dragon suplex on Momo. And it was just the nastiest, most bend you up freaking suplex that you've ever seen in your life.
I mean, some of the false finishes in this match, when we saw the Fubuki Rana.
Oh my God.
And
the Fubuki Rana.
And then the head kick. And a kick out?
I think Mayu Iwatani going for that head kick to spite Momo Watanabe is what made it possible for Momo to kick out. Yeah. Because if she had done Fubuki Rana an immediate pin, I think she would have
won. Because we've seen that.
At that moment.
Yeah.
But she made it a point to wait for the cover so that she could kick Momo Watanabe like Momo had been doing to her.
Yeah.
And it almost backfired on her. Like Momo could have won that match because of that.
This match, guys. This match, the drama, the violence.
The fact that Momo Watanabe threw the bat away in the middle of the match instead of using it.
Yeah, she could have used the bat and she threw it away.
Even though Mayu used the bat on her last time they faced.
Yeah.
It just makes you throw your hands up in the air and go, I've seen it all. I've seen everything wrestling has to offer.
this match definitely is 5 stars.
Yes. It is. I mean, it just is. Okay. Yeah. Like, this might be the best IWGP championship defense that we've seen out of the whole run, which is saying something.
I agree.
Because, I mean, the Toni Storm match, the Sorry match.
But even those matches, as violent as they had the violence and they had all the false finishes and they had all that, they didn't have the years.
No. And then the post-match. Oh my God, the post-match where Mayu is doing the thing, the thank you.
Right.
And this was a great match. Thank you for facing me. And then Momo taking the mic and just being like, oh, you mean thank you for losing to you after my 10-year anniversary. Yeah, okay. And she was just so mad.
She's like, I don't care what I have to do. I will overcome you.
She did.
And Mayu says, I don't care what you do.
I'll always be the wall you have to climb.
I will always be the wall you have to climb.
God, I love it so much.
It makes you feel things.
And we talked about it afterwards. Like maybe Momo doesn't realize that's the reason that she isn't able to get ahead, because she has that attitude about like, oh yeah, thanks very much. Like she doesn't respect that.
I noticed that every time that Momo cheats, that it's not as good. Like when we're in the ring, you said it yourself, it's a hard person to get the upper hand on.
Yeah.
When you're in the ring wrestling with her,
she's vicious.
She's vicious and she's mean and she can beat the shit out of you. And when we get to, she goes out of her way to throw the girl outside a lot of times.
She gets distracted.
And they're doing their thing, and I think it takes away from her.
Yeah. And it definitely makes it harder for her to win. And it probably puts more fire in her opponent to win because they're using illegal tactics.
I mean, there's a lot going on in Momo's head, because even imposter syndrome Jones here, because, she had everything.
She did.
And walked away from it.
Yeah. And she is determined to get to that spot again, but I'm not sure she can do it while she's in hate.
I don't think she can. And we've said, it's the boy that cried wolf. Mm-hmm. She is screwed everybody over.
Yeah.
She has tricked everybody. Nobody's going to ever believe a thing she says.
Exactly. They were talking about that. It's like she said she wants a clean fight, but who can even trust her at this point?
Going into this, she said she wanted a clean fight.
Yeah.
And then this happened. And
yeah, it's like at this point, Momo Watanabe is the least trustworthy person in Stardom.
Yeah, she's
and it really works against her.
It does.
Because people are always on their guard when she's in there.
But she's young as hell.
She is.
And even with all this experience.
10 years in, and she's only 24.
Yeah. And as good as she is, she has the world ahead of her.
She has to figure out that missing piece. And unlike when Hazuki lost the white belt match, where we're like, is that missing piece the dark side? I think Momo Watanabe's missing piece might be finding herself again outside of that dark side that has consumed her for so many years.
Yeah, I believe so too. I believe having a little humility and
respect,
embracing it. Yeah.
But that wasn't even the end of the post-match segment, because once Momo was gone, Mayu Iwatani got the mic and said that she wanted to request something. And she had this incredible, heartfelt speech about how she has earned her way to this top spot. And she thinks that she deserves a match on 1-4 in the Tokyo Dome, not at Wrestle Dynasty on 1-5.
She said last year, I was pissed off.
Yeah.
She said last year I was incredibly pissed off. I was so mad and frustrated and hurt.
And it probably has a lot to do with the fact that the 1-4 show in 2024, Stardom had their own show earlier in the day before Wrestle Kingdom, and the main event was Mayu Iwatani versus Shiri, and that match, obviously, when you were watching it, got cut very short because they made an announcement and everything about presumably people who had tickets to Wrestle Kingdom and needed to leave before the show was over. So they had to rush through that match. Mayu Iwatani had to rush through her IWGP match. And even though it was an incredible match that they put on in less than 15 minutes, you can tell why she would be upset about that and why she would feel like she wasn't getting the respect she deserved as the IWGP Women's Champion.
Yeah, no, she was an afterthought.
Yeah, and she made that very clear in this little speech she gave.
And the things that have went on, the things that they've overcome, and, the company, the leadership, everything that they've done, although that they went backwards a little bit in the middle of the show. But
this year has been a big year for Stardom, though.
It has. There's a lot of growth. And she's at the forefront of that growth.
She is. And she's been working her entire career to get to this point. She has done it all. She's done everything.
What she did was say that I deserve to be on the 1-4 show.
Yeah,
I deserve to be
in
the Tokyo Dome, defending my title, this title. And she has made that title the title.
She has. She has put every bit of respect and accolades on that title over the past 575 days now that she's held it. And even as she was talking about this, we know now she had someone in mind to call out, but before she even got a chance, Azumi made her way to the ring to tell Mayu she was ready for her match that she has earned in the 5-star Grand Prix. And she has been having to wait while Mayu takes on these other people like Toni Storm and Momo Watanabe. And Mayu even said, thank you for waiting.
Yeah.
And she said, this is it. We're going to do it. Mayu Utani versus Azumi at Wrestle Kingdom in the Tokyo Dome for the IWGP Women's World Championship.
Not a damn pre-show.
Oh my God. It better have like second half top spot on the card.
I hope so.
I am so excited for Mayu Utani versus Azumi in general, but at the Tokyo Dome, oh my God.
I would imagine there's enough Shota Uminos out there that at best it'll be the popcorn match. But
it better not be.
But I'm hoping that it's the first half main event. Like
right.
Before you go to intermission.
Right before intermission. That would be cool. That's a good spot to have.
Yeah.
But I know no matter where they are on the card, they're going to blow people out of the water.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're going to steal the show.
They are, because they're the best.
when the show's over, I guarantee you, no one's going to be talking about anything the way they talk about this match.
Absolutely. And I hope that this isn't the only women's match on the card, even if there's like an earlier match, like pre-show match.
There might be a pre-show,
but Wrestle Kingdom's usually pretty stacked.
And AEW's going to be there.
Yeah, and we have Wrestle Dynasty the next night, which will certainly have a lot of the Stardom talent on it with the AEW women. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, me too.
And we have New Year's Stars the night before Wrestle Kingdom. So
I think we're going to get probably a Toni Storm match on Wrestle Kingdom, maybe.
Oh, that would be really cool.
And maybe a Mercedes Moné. I mean, look, you're trying to sell tickets.
It would be cool to put the NJPW Strong women's title on there. Like a Mayu match and a Mercedes match, I would be totally happy with.
Right.
And then the next night, I imagine we're going to get Mariah May versus Mina Shirakawa. That's my hope for the AEW Women's World Championship in Japan. I would love that match.
We'll see what happens.
But that was not the end of the night, even though for me that was kind of the main event right there.
I'm so exhausted.
But we had Micah and Zack Sabre Jr. teaming up to take on Starlight Kid and El Desperado in a match that was absolutely everything that you ever wanted it to be. It was Starlight Kid and El Desperado being cute siblings. It was Micah and Zack Sabre Jr. looking cool as hell. And they all got their shit in.
And it doesn't matter who won, because the winners of the prom was Starlight and Despy.
They were so cute. And this being Desperado's return to the ring after injury is just so cool. And having it across from Zack Sabre Jr., who's, former tag team partner in Suzuki-gun years ago. And all these people know each other so well with the JTO connection between Micah and El Desperado and all that stuff. It was just good fun.
And ZSJ and Despy are probably the two top gentlemen of the whole group.
Just the way Despy puts his hand out and helps Starlight into the ring, and the way they do the numero dos and the Black Tiger leg kill together, and it was the match you wanted to see. It was a feel good way to end the show. Okay, it wasn't like a 5-star match.
It reminded me of the first crossover event.
I know. The first crossover was so wholesome from what I remember.
It was so amazing.
It was 2 years ago, but I remember it being wholesome as heck.
It was.
It was nothing like this.
Yeah. No, it was amazing.
But this one was really good, okay? This crossover was great, but it just had a few questionable moments in there, okay?
The Sendai Girls show was awesome.
The Sendai Girls show from Korakuen Hall. Good Lord.
Yes.
That was a good show.
So there you go.
If you love women's wrestling, that's the show you need to watch. Then come here, watch Mayu Utani versus Mo Watanabe. That's all you need to see.
That really is.
And maybe that pre-show match if you want to see the rookies showing their stuff.
You can watch that on YouTube.
Oh my goodness. But I think that's all we have for this show.
Hey, that's about as controversial as we get.
I was worried, man, when we were watching. I was like, good Lord, we're going to have to talk about that on the podcast. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we are working on some really cool stuff
We are.
for you guys. We are in the zone on the content creation. That's why it kind of took us a little longer to get this episode out than we would have liked. But we are happy we're still able to cover everything. We got some more Tag League coming up in the middle of this week. Honestly, they're going to start having more Tag League matches. So we will be back sooner than you probably want us to be. But you have no choice. You have to listen. And we will continue to cover Tag League, and through the end of the year into Wrestle Kingdom Week, we're so excited for all these big shows coming up, and we hope you are too. Make sure you're following us at Wrestling Is Her on X, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook. Listen on YouTube. Give us a subscribe and a like, and give us a comment and let us know how you felt about Historic X Over. And if you watch Sendai Girls, we would love to know, because we need some more Sendai Girls fans in our life, honestly. And we hope that you come back and listen to our next review and don't let our attitude about these current happenings scare you off, because this was a crazy show, okay? Yeah. It was just different. But thank you so much for listening. For now, I'm Raja. He's John. So long from Wrestling Is Her. Bye.